All right, Grand Rising Elizabeth. It is Friday, August 2nd, 2024, and you know what today is? We're talking about passion and purpose. So
Mhm.
we've got a lot to share with y'all today, and I'm excited. First and foremost, though, hey y'all, I'm Lolly, and I am here with the co-host and founder, Queen Aduni.
Yay! It's a good day. It's a good day. It's a good day to have a good day. Make it a good day because it's a good day. All right, all right. We've got about 15, 10, 15 minutes, Lolly, before we have to pull that in the video. So if you want to share anything.
Okay. Cool. Well, I'll do a little recap of last week. Um, and things to think about. Um, Sorry, people are texting me about checks. Anyway, I got to do a recap for last week. So last week, talked about this sparkling. Um, and sparkling, your sparkle is like your passion. It's the thing that just makes you feel like, yes, I am living in my purpose, my divine purpose. I'm walking in alignment with what I'm supposed to be doing. I have this vigor, this vitality, this feeling like I am in the right place, no matter what's going on. This is like I have this wonderful feeling in my life. Even when things are in disarray, there's something or there's a thought or a mindset that gives you that sparkle that keeps you shining, keeps your light going. And so last week we talked about a few things. We talked about a person, and a place that gives you or gave you, has given you, that sparkle, or reminded you of that sparkle. So we've spoken of family members, we've spoken of people that um we've spoken of places that are serene. We've spoken of places that reminded us of life. I know last week I talked about one of the places that gave me my sparkle, or that allowed me to tap into my sparkle, was Lake Superior, because of the flowing water, the crispness of the water, the serenity of the space. Um, I talked about how my baby is one of the people that made me sparkle, but I also talked about how there was someone in my life who, when I get told me something that completely changed my mindset, and changed my mindset enough so that it impacted me for the rest of my life currently still. And that was maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. So there are a lot of influences that allow us to really tap into our sparkle. And so something else about sparkling is just simply that, when you think about like a sparkler or a firecracker or any of those things, these are things just like it has all of this potential energy that's there. And
Mhm.
then there's these factors of your mindset, or the people around you, the environment around you, things that help to ignite that so that you can stay burning and stay passionate and stay purpose, which is to bring light to your space. So a lot of people were sharing their stories and their background with that. And I gave an assignment also for people last week, because we were going to talk about a person, a place, and not a thing, but an activity. So, a person, a place, and an activity that ignites the sparkle within us, that allows us to shine. And so I asked for people last week to think about and do, if they can, whatever activity that is, or activities that is, um, that allow for them to have that flame, that allow for them to have that sparkle and that shine. So I'll go first and say what I've done this past week to allow me to have that sparkle and shine in my life. And then I would love to still hear from y'all who are on the call today, to talk about what activities you've done in this past week to remind yourself that you sparkle, to remind yourself that you shine, that remind yourself that you are purpose, that you're walking your purpose and your passion. So for me, I this past week I've done quite a few things. One is being creative, so of course making music, right? That made me so happy. See, it's those moments.
Just
um, just
sparkling and shining over all that are here. Everybody in the house, sparkle and shine.
yes, yes, I love it. I love it. I love that so much. Yes. And by the way, if you have those, come across those or anything, I'm telling you, it brings out your inner child out of nowhere. Like you spark one of those and it's just like, ooh, I promise. And they don't hurt or anything. It's not like it's gonna burn you or nothing. But anyway, this past week I've been really creative. I've worked on um getting my lyrics together for one of the songs that I'm going to be putting out within the next couple months, that is surrounding being a garden, that's surrounding the importance of, you know, tending to a garden, the garden that women are, the garden that childbearers are. Um, and so I finalized my lyrics for that, but I also helped somebody else be creative, and I just kind of got my juices flowing. I've been working with this. I started back working with the kids for the next 3 weeks, in the studio, so that they're like they haven't been recording as much, but they've been practicing for a show. So they've been singing their songs, their cover songs, and everything. It's just been something that's really been beautiful for me to tap back into my creative space and do that. But another thing that's not even on the creative wavelength, something that I did that ignited my passion, my purpose this week, is accomplish things for my self betterment. Like whether it was making sure I actually talked to a doctor or scheduled an appointment with a therapist or whatever. It was a few things that it was like on my to-do list that I didn't quite get to. And I'm like, if I can just do those things, it's going to help me feel like I'm more in alignment with what I'm supposed to do and the steps I need to take to get to where I need to go. Um, and then also looking at jobs, looking at grants, looking at different opportunities. These are all things that I use to allow myself to feel like, okay, I am sparkling. I don't have $1 million in my pocket at the moment,
Yeah,
but I just did all of these things and it made me feel so good. It made me feel like I was fulfilled, like I was sparkling, like I was shining, like I was walking into my purpose.
yeah.
So, with that being said, those are the activities that I've done in the past week to allow my sparkle to shine. And so, I would love to hear from you all. What are some things you've done in this past week that allowed you to sparkle?
Go
Well,
ahead, Queen.
no, I'll say
Go,
I'm always ready. You guys, come on, talk.
go
Let's
ahead.
talk. No, go ahead.
I'm still thinking.
Yeah, well, me too. Yeah,
Uh,
well, I have an open house this weekend, and just pulling the people together. When the chefs, we all had a meeting, and just hearing them talk about, just what they're going to provide, and they're excited about, um, about the event, and just getting ready for it is because I love event planning. And yeah, just and then just knowing, well, the new revelation that I got and walking in that, I had shared with you all about that. I realized yesterday I was going to play that, but I realized I had already played that with Aaron, and just talking about and remembering how uh, God really wants to be expressed through us, and that everything that we need, like what you were saying, Lolly, about it may not be $1 million, but that's in monetary things, but everything you said was worth 1 million and 1 billion, $1 trillion, just
Mm-hmm.
our ideas. And then from the ideas, the sparkle comes. I got sparkle, see. Sparkle comes, um and even on that note, when I had my lighter and I'm lighting it, it took a minute for it to catch on. The fire was low, these little cheap things.
Mm-hmm.
It was low, but I stayed steady with it. I kept it there until it caught on. Y'all get that, right? Right.
Mhm.
Even if the fire is low, you just stay there determined, and then it'll catch on fire and sparkle. And so I'm really, really super excited. Um, we had karaoke going on, so all the different things, Mama Evelyn there with her, will be there with her um, creativity, belly dancing, line dancing, um, the bowls, all the stuff that's going to be going on in Everett's is going to be there. So I'm super excited about that because that's what I love. And connecting with this organization that's on a much bigger scale, like Isley Brothers scale, and just being able to tap into that. So, and I've been keeping my area clean down here. That's big. That is big. I've got everything situated in my living room area, my work area. That is big for me. But what I also, Lolly, what I wanted to share was a place where I remembered that I love to go, and that is La Jolla Coves. La Jolla in California. When I lived in San Diego, I would go to La Jolla, and they had the coves, and you could just climb up and walk up and just sit in one of the coves and just look over the water and stuff. And so every time I go there. It is my intent as well to live in La Jolla. It's one of my getaway places. So yeah, so I'm super excited how Spirit has taken something small like my space, medium small, medium, whatever, and gigantic things will be going on in there. It's just about the scheduling of it. So I'm just super, super duper excited. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's it. That's it for me. So I've been working on that. That gives me joy. Yeah.
That's awesome. I thought that was a nice analogy with the sparkle that you had an actual sparkle. That and then you said, you light it and you're trying to get it going and you're working on it, takes a while, and then bam,
Then
sparkles
right,
come. Yeah,
right,
the
right.
sparkles come out. That's a really great analogy. Um, let's see, one place I like to go, there's a place here, a park here that's really nice and it's got some water flowing. It's called Shaw Park.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that's the name of the park. But I go there occasionally and walk it. It's not a real big park, but that's really kind of opens me up a lot. Just the energy there.
Yeah,
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 the
yeah.
energy, it's got a real nice small waterfall. Ducks are in the pond occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that we talk about our purpose, and I think purpose usually changes in people's lives. It evolves, you know, because mine is definitely evolving in many ways. But just I really like being active, moving, dancing, or playing pickleball, some type of sport. I really like that, enjoy that. Even though sometimes the day after the repercussions are a little rough, you're a little sore, what have you, from dancing too much. And I like being in groups, being involved with good people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of my big passions, and it makes me sparkle.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
just seeing people have fun and have a good time. And I think Queen, you and I have that in common. I think when you do that event thing, you like to see people in their passion or doing something they enjoy to do. It makes you feel good. And that's how I feel when I exercise or when I'm dancing or when I'm with a group of people, seeing them have fun. It makes me feel good. I guess it kind of makes me feel like I'm sparkling then.
yeah, Yeah.
And actually, I'm sitting back watching more so than anything. And I guess I'm sparkling in my head.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess you'd say.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. But
I,
that,
I yeah, I do when you said that I can sparkle with my tambourine and my percussion.
mm,
I
mm,
really, I really, I really
that
I don't get
vibration.
nervous. There are no nervous and I'm at a point now where no matter what band, if Stevie Wonder was to say, yeah, you can play, I would be playing on that level. I mean, I know who I am in that. And
Okay.
I surrender to the spirit of the tambourine and the shakeré and all of that. I surrender to the rhythm and the melody
And the
of
energy.
that. Yeah,
Mhm,
and
mhm,
to make the tambourine talk, make the
mm,
shakeré talk
mhm.
amongst the musicians, you know,
Yes,
that
yes.
what it has to say is just as important as the bass player, the keyboard player, and all of that. And then I know that those little things can drive the band. Because if it drops out, you'll know it. You know, if you stop, if I come in and it's time to, okay, rev it up, because I'm listening to what they're doing. And when
Mhm.
they change, I change the rhythm. And I know that, you know, a lot of tambourine players, which are really good, you know, they could be really good, especially the one with the skin, the church girl, the church guy,
Mhm. Yeah, buddy.
they
Yep.
can go. But my technique of rhythm and, you know, being able to just hit one little thing and then make it talk and stuff, yeah, that makes me sparkle. And when I'm through, you know, I'm just through. It's not, you know, I don't have to be, oh, you're so wonderful. I just know that I contributed and she did her thing.
You did what you did. Yeah.
Yeah, she did her thing. So that definitely, yeah.
And
But anything outdoors, just, mhm,
just being out in nature. Like when Lolly did her video, that was so
that
beautiful.
was that was the best I've
Yeah, that was
ever.
so beautiful. And just
Yeah,
like, it was like she was just a butterfly just flying around the garden. It was so cute.
it was so
Yeah.
pretty.
Just so free spirited and just, and her belly was out, the baby was showing, and she was just like, look at me, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Here,
Yeah.
this is it. This is the grand opening. Welcome to the world.
And then what I liked was the comparison, you know, that the baby is growing in her garden. She is the garden.
Mhm,
Oh,
mhm.
oh, she is on here. You are the garden. We
Yeah, yeah, it's a beautiful
act like she's
analogy.
not even here. We're talking
Right.
about her like,
Yeah, it's a beautiful analogy.
but
Beautiful analogy.
and speaking of that, Lolly, what I like, and I want to say that about in a different way, Lakeisha is the same way. Um, your uh, expression of who you are, your talent, your gifts, and you have a way of writing that is very unique and very expressive, and another approach of sharing what that thing is poetically. You're really
Yes,
good with that. And then putting the music and the action behind it. You're a really good producer.
yes,
Yeah, you are a good producer. And you in the financial world, Miss Letitia, you know, you're the same way. You're the same way in how you approach what you're doing, you know, in the financial world. So I applaud both of you on that.
thank you.
Mm-hmm. So anyone else want to share? We're going to go into the video.
Yes, I would like to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm looking crazy right now, but it's okay.
You always say that, and it's not true. I just want you to know that.
Okay, look, I got my pajamas on. Look, I just had to throw a hat on so I wouldn't look crazy.
So we
But
wouldn't have known that was pajamas. We don't know. Okay.
so I was excited last Friday. I came on late and how Lolly was talking about sparkling, like, what makes you I'm like, oh, that's really good. Like what really makes you sparkle? So I've been really excited and sparkling because, I've had to go to the water, like I went to Bella and I went to the water. Like I just like felt like I needed to be near nature because you're your fullest self when you outside, when you outdoors. And I understand more when people say, go hug a tree. You know what I mean? Like go hug a tree. You're not supposed to have your shoes on. Let your feet hit the ground and touch the grass, So I went out there and I did that. But what's been making my sparkle is like I said, the successes and the routine. So I've really been taking that serious. Some areas of my life still, I have not accomplished, but there's so many other things that I have. And one of the things that's really been making me sparkle is the effect that I have on other people's lives, like, and so I have been really working on my brand resume. And I'm on the point to now where I'm gathering my videos of people who I've been able to assist and help in their business and their spirituality, no matter what it is. And so my first 4 videos, oh my God, I was pretty much in tears. So the one video that I first got the young lady, I was like, oh my God, that is so good. Just to know that they feel, and a lot of them are consistent with my personality, how I make them feel. But Kiara, oh my God, she just outdid it. I mean, if artist wasn't with me, I would have boiled out in tears. And I hope I can share her video of what she thought. It is amazing. You have the power, but you could go on madamfinance.com or lakeishalegran.com if you don't mind, Queen. And I just like, oh my God, nobody gonna be able to top this one. I think this girl is no joke. And I'm like, oh my God. And everything she said is true. Like I really poured my heart into her. Whatever she said that she wanted, I'm like, oh, you need to do this. It's just amazing. So it's under professional services and then mentor coach. So my spirit's like, I need to create a mentor and coach page. That's really been in my spirit. So that's what I've been working on. I'm not finished with it, but yeah. Okay. Go down. Go down.
Right here.
Okay, right. Yes. I said, oh my God.
Hey, what's up? My name is Kiera Nicole, founder and CEO of Kiera Nicole LLC. And in this video, I wanted to share my testimony of my mentor, Lakeisha LeGrand, aka Madam Finance. And I just wanted to say that she has been such a blessing in my life. I remember I came to her and I called her up and was just letting her know where I was at in my life and, the goals that I had. And really, she took it from there. I remember I told her that I wanted to learn more about government contracting, and without me having to say anything else, she was sending me links to conferences, seminars, and, she would say, hey, let's go to this seminar, let's go to this conference. And we went, and it was such an amazing time. I learned so much more about government contracting, and it was just the fact that she took that initiative, that every goal, everything that I said, she gave so much encouragement and so many resources. She was sending me so many grants that I have yet to fill out, by the way. But she will give you so many resources that you will have everything that you need to get started. She's given me things to really help with my credit that I have yet to fill out. But so many other things that I actually did take action on. It just goes to show that she will give you like more than enough resources for you to get started with whatever goal and dream that you bring to her. She will help you. If you need encouragement, she'll encourage you. She has been such a blessing in my life, and I know without a doubt she'll be a blessing in your life. She is that hype man. You know, you need somebody to be hype. She will do that, okay? She will hype you up about your dreams. She will hype you up about your goals, because that is just who she is, okay? Meta Finance will be on your team. So she has always told me that she's been Team Kiera. So I know without a doubt that whatever your name is, she'll be Team John, Team Sarah, Team Lisa. She will be on your team. And you need somebody that will be on your team who will give you the resources, who will hold your hand and really show you that you can do it, because you really can. You can do whatever you set your mind to do, whatever goal that you have, whatever dream that you have, it is possible, and she makes it clear. So she makes it clear every step of the way. If you need that clarity, if you need that drive, if you need somebody to hype you up for your dreams, she would do exactly that. She is so adaptable, and with whatever you have that you bring to her, she's able to really bring it to life. Whatever her price is, pay it, because she is worth every single penny and more. It is absolutely priceless to have her on your team and have her in your corner, okay? So have a blessed day, and that is my testimony. And I love you so much, Lakeisha. I just pray that God give you so many more blessings, because you have been such a blessing in my life, and I know that you're a blessing to so many others. So continue to be that star and shine your light so bright. You deserve it. Now it's time for you to take action. I want you to go to www.madamfinance.com and book your session with her today. Book your session and change your life.
Whoa.
Girl, I'm like, oh my,
Oh.
so the first video that I had with this young lady, I was like, oh my God. I thought it was so good. I was like, oh my God, it touched my heart, And then the second video, Dr. Riola, and it touched my heart also. But this one right here, I was like, oh my God, like,
Yeah.
just to see the impact, that you have or sometimes on people, it just really helped me to really sparkle and just put something up, just, I don't know, it's just really got me sparkling. It's really got me gun-ho to really know that I am making a difference and I can make a difference. And this is from me doing the free sessions. Some people taking it serious, some people haven't. So I had to really hone in on and have them do a contract, okay? Because my time is valuable, and have them do a contract and know the expectations and what, if you don't show, this is what, so that has really that. And then with the book that I'm working on with Kevin Harrington, like, I'm just like really excited. My sparkle from Bashar saying, follow your bliss, like just follow your bliss. And
Yeah.
so I am following my bliss, and I am thankful and grateful, and I'm not having no type of expectations from it. It's like I'm finna enjoy however it unfolds. I just want to enjoy how it's gonna unfold. Like, I'm just gonna be excited to see how it unfolds. No expectations, just So that's been my sparkle ever since you brought that up, Lolly. So that was like so amazing. Like, what is your sparkle? And the success is in your routine, and you all are all amazing.
Oh,
And
Shirley.
I love the Elizabeth and my
Congratulations.
new family.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Wonderful. Your website layout is wonderful. Do you do your own website?
Yeah, it's called a brand resume, is what it's called. So I have a millionaire mentor. He is bad. Like, he is bad. And he's, I guess he kind of like made up the brand resume. And so that's my hub. Nobody can never take it down, no matter what I say. Nobody can never take it down. And anything that they want to know about Lakeisha and what she does is all in one spot. Like,
Yeah.
it got the Natural Living by Design. It has Salt, Skate, Spa, and Float. Like, everything that I do is in the brand resume. And so it's supposed to, make you shine. And I'm still working on it, but it's coming together like a whole, like I'm being more intentional. about it. So now I have the mentor page. Now I'm more, the Medicare page. So I'm just getting very proud of the work that I'm putting in and asking the Holy Spirit to guide me as I do those things, to work with me on the pages, and it just seemed like it's just coming to life.
Awesome.
Yes.
All
I
right.
love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. I can feel the sparkle. I can feel the heat of the light. Okay. I feel the sparkle. I see it. I see it in your face. I saw it in her.
Yes.
When we shine our lights, when we sparkle and we can ignite someone else's sparkle and we both just sparkling off each other and it's just
Yes,
beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm very excited for you. And you know, we'll talk as I continue to progress in my entrepreneurship as well, because I was
yes,
planning on this anyway for a while anyway. But I would love to get mentorship at some point. And I was like looking up what like SBA loans and stuff and like all the stuff requirements. And then like they have like this mentorship program, but you have to have a business that's willing to mentor you. So I'm
I
just
got the 12 free sessions going on. 12 free sessions.
so I'll definitely talk to you more as I'm organizing what my business will look like as well. And I appreciate you. And I appreciate you sharing that for those who need to reminder that, you sparkle, you shine, and other people see that and you shine even more when you share your light. So yes. All right. Moving on, it looks like we got Queen Aduni has some important stuff to share with us today. So we're going to remind ourselves of our sparkle, keep our sparkle going, and we're going to shift gears into a new conversation.
All right.
Okay.
Listen, when she broke this thing down, and she's like you, Lolly, she is so creative. I was like, wow, who are you? I mean, just like the best teacher in the world. And here we go. What is Project 2025?
Project 2025, the Conservative Leadership Mandate, is literally a 900-page document that details the plan for the first 180 days of a conservative presidency. Well, actually, Project 2025 is way more than just a document. It's an extremely organized, built-out strategy based on 4 pillars. Pillar number 1 is this. This book is called A Policy Agenda. Mandate for Leadership, the Conservative Promise. Think of this as the policy Bible. I did not come up with that name. The entire book's sole purpose is reshaping federal policy and shifting societal norms in America to align almost exclusively with conservative values. Pillar number 2 is a personnel database where conservative scholars, academics, and policy experts are being compiled. Think about this pillar like a conservative-only LinkedIn. The authors of this policy set a goal to have at least 20,000 recruits already built into the personnel database, as a way to have a readily available pool of ideologically aligned people to pull from when it comes to filling all of the positions that they plan to create, fill, or vacate when taking the reins of the government. Again, these are their words, not mine. And they're doing this as a way to streamline the confirmation process. Make sure that there are 0 hiccups. Pillar number 3 is their Presidential Administration Academy. It's an online educational system of training programs specifically for those potential employees under the role of a conservative president. Again, the goal here is speed. They want the ability to just plug and play. Pillar number 4 outlines the transition plans in a 180-day playbook. The 180-day playbook is driven by the policy agenda itself. And so if the policy agenda is the guidebook, then think of the 180-day playbook as the roadmap. These 4 pillars together are what makes up Project 2025. Okay, thank you. Now I know what Project 2025 means, Deja, but why should I even care about this? What does a conservative promise even mean? Why are you bringing this up? Well, my curious friend, I'm glad you asked. The average age of an empire is 250 years. Can you guess where we are on the calendar? It's okay. Pause this video for a second and do some math from 1776. And then I want you to do with that information what you will. I've been reading this book for the past 3 months, and it's made me realize something interesting, and it's that there are 3 major factions in this space: conservatives, Republicans, and the Christian right. We need They are all different, and it's important to note that they don't always agree. But for the most part, the purpose of this project is to make sure that everyone who identifies with conservative values, meaning on a basic level they share advocacy for limited government, upholding traditional values, supporting national defense and free market principles, is aligned with the 4 conservative promises that are made in this book. The project itself is spearheaded by a conservative think tank known as the Heritage Foundation. Chances are, if there's some major conservative push for a form of legislation, you can bet your bottom dollar that the Heritage Foundation has their hands in it. Everything is in here. They liken transgenderism to pornography and go so far as to say that anybody, even teachers who are distributing types of media that detail this type of pornography, should be jailed and registered as sex offenders. Teachers. While the plan definitely criticizes the normalization of transgenderism, it's important to understand that this is a part of a larger, broader agenda to control cultural and educational narratives. The authors see it as restoring the family as the centerpiece of American life and protecting our children. The way that they plan on doing that is to remove content that is deemed inappropriate by a reasonable person from schools and libraries and only allow materials that reflect conservative values. There's a new bill in West Virginia that says librarians can be charged if it's found that they shelve educational content or books that they've deemed inappropriate. And there's some people who think that this bill will keep kids safe, but there are others that are worried librarians, teachers, education providers run the risk of being charged or getting blamed unfairly just for having a wide array of books available, which could include useful educational content. This personally stresses me out because I hate the thought of librarians being afraid to offer certain material affecting what I have the ability to read or learn about. Several states have already either removed criminal liability exemptions for public and school libraries, or they've already started expanding the definition of what they see as obscenity to capture a wider array of books. That could potentially result in criminal charges for simply having them on the shelves. Imagine your health teacher being arrested for teaching sex ed. Please don't think this is coming. This is already happening. If you're worried about the lack of action on climate change, it's because they're already focusing on how they can benefit from things like permafrost. It's not a priority. How can we make money off of this? In fact, Project 2025 explicitly aims to end all current climate change efforts. It's advocating for a complete reversal of initiatives like the Paris Climate Change Agreement. It goes real hard about making sure that we know that America's energy interests are going to take a huge priority over any environmental concerns. This plan includes everything, including ways to expand operations in places like Alaska in order to better harvest its rare earths, natural gases, and oils. It even includes plans about Antarctica, where the authors plan on capitalizing on things like shipping and tourism in the area. It'll be a no going back shift towards fully exploiting natural resources for economic growth, as well as abandoning pretty much all climate change mitigation efforts. I'm going to quote the policy agenda directly here for a second, which refers to environmental extremism as anti-human. Environmental ideologues would ban the fuels that run most of the world's cars, planes, factories, farms, and electricity grids, abandoning confidence in human resilience and creativity in responding to the challenge of the future would raise impediments to the most meaningful human activities. They would stand human affairs on their head, regarding human activity itself as fundamentally a threat to be sacrificed to the God of nature. My problem here is it's not that they don't believe in you, brother. I personally, no doubt about it in my mind, believe in human resilience and creativity. It's actually that I just have much more faith in the power of greed. And this here assumption denies the reality of unsustainability. It pushes for the U.S. to remove itself from any association with the UN or any other efforts to create sustainable development priorities, especially those that are connected to food production. And that just seems way more anti-human to me. Or maybe it's that it was both 8 degrees and 80 degrees in January this year. But alas, I know nothing. And I'm sure the planet's fine. They're trying to get rid of all DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion language from all legislature, all of it, except for religion. They want vast, robust protections for religion. Yes, the goal is to eliminate what they see as indoctrination from anti-American woke revolutionaries, divisive critical race theory programs, and DEI initiatives from all educational and governmental institutions. The authors believe that talking about race in nearly all capacities creates an inferiority complex. This is again a part of a larger effort to promote a conservative agenda and push certain conservative perspectives, ideals, and values. Some of the recommendations the authors provide include vast protections for religion and religious tax exemptions.
Don't risk losing the photos and videos from your phone. This innovative photo stick makes it easy to back up your smartphone.
Question for you, class. In what timeline should we have pastors whose net worth is close to $1 billion?
He made that airplane so cheap for me, I couldn't help but buy it.
It calls for issuing executive orders banning the use of equity-focused language, basically throughout all instances of public office and private sectors. It also calls for Congress passing a law prohibiting the federal government from using taxpayer dollars to fund critical race theory training. This is already happening. There's a venture capitalist fund called the Fearless Fund that was created solely to fill the gap of less than 1% of venture capital recipients being Black women, despite Black women being the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs. The group has been hit with a lawsuit from the conservative group American Alliance for Equal Rights. They aim to bleed the fund dry, and it's working. It's working as intended. Do you also find it funny that there were no lawsuits presented when less than 1% of the population was being provided the same opportunities as other populations? I find it funny, but not like in a ha-ha way. Like in a I don't really want to tell you what to think, but maybe think on that for a second kind of way. To me, this begs the question of how do inferiority complexes come into play while simultaneously being torn down by parties who have a vested interest in demonstrating superiority? Most people just have to go up against their inner critic to get things done. We should be able to acknowledge that some Americans are playing bootstrapping on X Games mode. That's where you have entire establishments standing on your straps. First and foremost, the U.S. must prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear technology and delivery capabilities and more broadly block Iranian ambition. While focusing on foreign policy, specifically on the broader Middle Eastern strategy, Project 2025 pushes for a continuation of conservative emphasis on national security and energy dominance. The policy agenda specifically states that if an internal organization is effective and advances American interests, then the U.S. should support it. If an international organization is not effective and does not advance American interests, then the U.S. will not support it. Make no mistake here. This is important for you to understand as an American. There is a commitment to supporting allies like Israel, no matter which president we have. We already know that this is a strategic priority focused exclusively on maintaining influence and access to resources in the region. Policy agenda also calls for the Palestinian Authority to be defunded, as well as prioritizing keeping Turkey in the Western fold as a NATO ally to prevent any hedging towards Russia or China. When it comes to Africa, the authors of the policy recognizes the abundance of resources that Africa offers.
After I liberate the Jewish people, I will go to Africa to help liberate the Black people.
It also recognizes that lately, as Africa's strategic influence has grown, U.S. influence there has declined.
Sub-Saharan Africa has been fundamental to the global prosperity of the advanced countries. Okay? And Africa had a role to play. It has a role as a raw material producer. We will not allow Sub-Saharan Africa to escape that. Okay, we do everything to keep Sub-Saharan Africa where it is, also impoverished. It's absolutely vital for the prosperity of everyone else. So let's get clear about that. Okay?
So they want to shift their strategy.
Breathe, y'all. Oh my God.
From assistance to growth. Some of the tactics that they want to use to do this include phasing out humanitarian aid, the recognition of Somaliland statehood, and a focus on supporting American companies that are involved in industries that are important to America's interests, or those that already have a competitive advantage in Africa. To combat African-based terror groups like Boko Haram, the authors recommend that the U.S. support capable African military and security operations to provide foreign military education, training, weapons, and security assistance. This is just the tip of the iceberg of foreign policy. Side note, did you know that America has almost 800 military bases in over 70 countries and territories while having no foreign military bases on its soil? I found that quite interesting. Onward. The reason why this document was so scary to me is because this isn't the first time it's happened. The first time they actually laid out a plan like this was with Reagan, and they were able to enact 60% of what they wanted achieved based upon having it all laid out already. 60% of Reaganomics was already laid out. Indeed, Reaganomics was trash. But do you know what's even more trash-like in nature? The realization that the Reagan administration's success in implementing such a large chunk of the ideas from Mandate for Leadership showcases the impact of them having such detailed planning. 60% of Reaganomics was all it took for us to arrive here, still waiting for our trickles, the middle class all but disappearing into an in-between space where American and blue-collar workers are paying higher tax rates than billionaires. This is why we're talking about this today, class, because this isn't just a bunch of fanatics writing manifestos. Don't be so dismissive. We're getting put on game up front. Project 2025 aims to replicate that success. But peep this. You don't need a time machine or a flux capacitor to take you back to dropkick baby Reagan into another profession to undo the damage done by his administration, because you have this book that is highlighting the strategic importance of these documents and the impact that they have in shaping conservative administrations. It's right here. It's right in front of us. You know in the movies when one of the main characters is geeked to unveil their plan to take over the world and then they start monologuing? This is the monologue. This is the monologue. It's even more frightening because there is an attack on education. An uneducated population, you are able to sway consistently with propaganda. To be fair, I actually like the idea of transferring education to the states in principle, but in actuality, it also makes me wonder, if every state's allowed to teach something different, how will we ever close the gap on the very real problem that is America's revisionist history? Also, it makes me wonder about if you're in a poorer state with lower home ownership. Less home ownership means less property taxes, which funds schools. How might that impact the quality of the education you receive overall? This one is for extra credit. Take this time to guess how the top 10 poorest states in the nation tend to vote.
At Michigan Great Lakes Virtual Academy, we know your child is one of a kind, and their school
The policy agenda calls for changes to ensure that schools comply with the colorblind ideal. It's asking that the next administration create a parent's bill of rights that schools have to abide by. And in this bill of rights includes the right to support and provide relief to parents who sue educational institutions for teaching or talking about critical race theory, or teaching American history in any capacity that isn't celebratory of its total awesomeness. I'm not kidding. They're arguing that teaching America's full history is equivalent to defending the false idea that America is systemically not as nice to some people as it is to other people. And to do so, to even teach that, is a violation of the parents' rights, and the parent should be allowed to sue with support of the federal government because of that. No problem with parents having rights, but for me, wait, how exactly does creating multiple realities through historical fiction create alignment, remove division, and better our country overall? I'm still waiting on that answer too, young Padawan. I'm still waiting on that answer too. Oh, by the way, this too is also happening. So I challenge young people to read this, post about it, talk about it, discuss it. To be totally fair, there are some things in the policy agenda that I agree with and can empathize with when I put myself in the shoes of a conservative. But what I have found is that it is often very short-lived because of the potential implications of such broad overreach that you start to realize is sure to happen by giving the president ultimate power in the way that this policy agenda suggests, specifically with the minimization of so many checks and balances. A lot of the plans outlined in this book are rooted in the taxpayer not paying attention. And I don't know about you, but I hate when a company's entire business model is banking on making the system so complicated or making it so hard to cancel that you just become so overwhelmed with the process that you just give up and let them take your money. Any business model that is dependent on your ignorance should not be a sustainable business model. Repeat after me. American ignorance should not be a part of the business plan.
What will happen, we'll eventually get to the point where these things are happening and we'll go, how did we get here? Will Pikachu face it? How did we get here? This is how we got here. No one raindrop thinks that it started the flood. Pay attention.
This part is called the call to action, but for you, my friend, we will call it how to feel less helpless, aka ACT. I'm not here to make you angry. As I said earlier, there are a few things in this policy agenda that I'm actually on board with. I'm not trying to stoke your rage.
Why do you lay these troubles on an already troubled mind?
I am no fearmonger. I want you to feel empowered. More specifically, I want you to join me in educating ourselves.
But Deja, I don't feel empowered. I feel helpless.
Ditto. Now, what are we going to do about it?
Rot.
No, that's not what we're going to do. There's people who have a vested interest in you rotting. Stop it. You're not as powerless as you think. Step 1. Make a new email specifically for your activism so you don't get overwhelmed. Step 2. Make a Reddit post or meetup group to meet people in your area who also want to feel less helpless. Doesn't have to be like-minded people. It's okay to challenge your views and learn. Don't be afraid to learn. Step 3. Register to vote. Step 4. Register to vote. Step 5. Register to vote. No, I'm serious. Pop quiz. Let's pretend you were an American citizen who wanted to fully exercise their voting rights in America. How many elections should you be voting in every few years? Did you guess at least 7? Because if you did, you were right. You should be voting in 7 or more elections to fully exercise your voting rights as an American citizen. If you don't have at least 7 elections under your belt, I'm sorry, baby. Now is not the time for rotting.
7? Where did you get 7 from?
So you know the big ones, the federal elections. These are held every 2 to 4 years. Your presidential election held every 4 years. You vote for the president and the vice president, obvi. Then you have your congressional.
Okay, I skipped poli-sci. What is Congress even made up of?
I'm glad you asked, boo. The condensed version is Congress is made up of 2 parts, the House and the Senate. The House of Representatives is made up of members who are elected based on the population of 50 states. Each state is divided into districts, and each district elects 1 representative. The total number of representatives is 435. These guys serve 2 terms, with all seats up for election every 2 years. The House is responsible for bringing revenue bills, impeaching federal officials, and electing the president in the case of electoral college ties. Do you see why it might be important that the person representing your district has your best interests at heart? Next, we have the Senate. The Senate consists of 100 senators, meaning there's 2 senators per state. These guys serve 6-year term, but they're staggered so that there are elections every 2 years. Their powers include the ability to ratify treaties, confirm presidential appointments, and conduct impeachment trials where they act as the jury. All bills must pass Congress before they go to the president to be signed into law. You also have your state elections. These are going to vary by state, but this is going to be your gubernatorial elections. I like that word, gubernatorial. But that's who you're electing for your government. Typically, this is every 4 years, but check your state. Then you have your state legislature elections. You have statewide offices like Secretary of State, the Attorney General. And then closing out state, you have the primaries, which are to figure out who is going to be running for President of the United States. Media will make it seem as if it's already a shoo-in or that it's set in stone, but it isn't until it is.
Step 6, shop local. Local elections are going to have the most immediate impact on your day-to-day life. Get extremely interested in what is going on in your immediate space. That county clerk who's able to prove or deny your marriage license based off of their religious views? Electable. That sheriff whose officers seem to have a problem with keeping their body cams on? Electable. That judge who's more interested in policing teenage hair instead of serving the needs of the community? Electable. That DA who rarely prosecutes insider political crimes? Electable. Electable. Totally electable. Are you awake yet? Step 7. Open up a new tab. Summon ChatGPT 4. Type this into your search bar. Give me a list of local elections in my city and state. After that, be sure to ask for the town hall schedule in your city. To fully exercise your voting rights, you need to participate in all the elections that you can, not just the presidential or midterm congressional elections. Local and state elections are way more focused on the direct impact of your daily life. Problem with your street lights? Hold your county commissioner accountable. Hold your mayor accountable. Don't like what's happening at school? School board elections.
You also want to pay attention to special elections. These are usually held to fill vacancies that occur when an elected official resigns or can't complete their time, which can happen at any level at any time. You feel hopeless because you haven't realized you have the power to take the jobs of the people serving you if they're not serving you. It's time to stop consuming and start creating. Attend your town hall or city council meetings. Some cities even live stream their city council meetings, so even if you can't make it in the physical, you can still be present. Chances are, if your demographic is not showing up to these meetings, your interests are not being represented. Americans need a third place anyway, right? Why not make it a field trip? Once upon a time, I was a supervisor in a call center. And one of my favorite memories from working in that place was coordinating time off of the phones so that me and my team were able to go and vote together. And for some of them, it was the first time that they had ever used their voice. Hey, I'm gonna pull the race card here for a second. I'm sorry. We were doing so good at keeping up with the colorblind ideal. But if you are a person of color in America, you have a responsibility to use your voice. This is not optional. I need you to understand that there were anti-literacy laws in place at the same time that Rockefeller was starting to build his fortune. I'm going to pause here for dramatic effect. I really need you to sit with the thought process and desired effects of concentrated efforts to make reading and learning illegal. Nonconformity isn't piercing your face or getting rage bait content tattooed. That's easy. Nonconformity is you and 3 of your wanna feel less helpless homies rolling up to a town hall meeting to have a say of what's going on in your community. Better yet, grab a couple felons to bring along with you. Depending on your state, felons never lose the right to vote, contrary to popular belief. Yet another American myth that no one bothers to correct because it's to someone's benefit that you stay asleep. You want to really rage against the machine? You want to be a true anarchist, brother? Stop allowing old, out of touch.
This AI tool will take your idea and create a complete book, complete with design, images.
People dictate your future. Every time cancel culture opts to cancel a celebrity instead of the elected officials whose job it is to shape our laws, somewhere in the world, a villain belly laugh is born. Stop giving these people jobs. Every time you allow someone undeserving in office, you reward mediocrity. Stop allowing these people to keep their jobs without performance reviews. You have performance reviews at your job, don't you? Shouldn't those in public office be held to the same level of evaluation? Your boss doesn't just forget to tell you when you're not doing your job right. They're not too busy to fire you. They're not too overwhelmed to let you know that you're not measuring up. That doesn't happen. But if you showed up, only 2 things can happen. Change, or we start the process of pulling the Scooby-Doo mask off of the entire farce. But if you're not voting, you're complicit in corruption. And maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe let's not do that. You know what? We'll call it trickle-up accountability. This next step is optional but important. If you are someone who just honestly does not have time to advocate for yourself, here's what I want you to do. Find a nice quiet place to sit down, open the settings of your phone, scroll down to screen time. Make sure you select weak view. That part's important. And I want you to stare at the highest number of hours and the name of the app that you gave your finite attention to. If you have more than 2 hours of screen time in any app, it's all love. No judgment, I get it. But perhaps we can see where we can carve out a little bit of time, budget, if you will. And after that, let's kindly return to step 7. Alas, we have reached the end. For my longer attention span, homies, thank you for being here. Short form content is ruining your brain, and the revolution will not be bite-sized. I want to leave you this quote to mull over while you expeditiously follow me. To join me and catch upcoming videos of breakdowns of Project 2025, ways of increasing our media literacy, balancing politics with mindfulness, taking care of yourself, and more from my tragically optimistic heart to yours in my journey to overcoming capitalistic nihilism. From author and journalist Chris Hedges, who writes in Empire of Illusion, a society becomes totalitarian when its structure becomes flagrantly artificial, Orwell wrote. That is when its ruling class has lost its function, but succeeds in clinging to power by force or fraud. They have engaged in massive fraud. Force is all they have left. There are powerful entities, fearful of losing their influence and wealth, arrayed against us. They are waiting for a moment to strike, a national crisis that will allow them, in the name of national security, security and moral renewal to take complete control. The tools are in place. These anti-democratic forces,
welcome to the end of democracy. We're here to overthrow it completely. We didn't get all the way there on January 6th.
which will seek to make an alliance with the radical Christian right.
To get rid of it and replace it with this right here. That's right, because all glory is not to government, all glory to God.
And other extremists will use fear, chaos, the hatred for the ruling elites and the specter of the left-wing dissent, and terrorism.
Missouri GOP candidate for governor was only an honorary member of the Ku Klux Klan.
To impose draconian controls to extinguish our democracy. And while they do it, they'll be waving the American flag, chanting patriotic slogans, promising law and order. And by then, exhausted and broken, we may have lost the power to resist.
Today, I'm going to show you the $1 billion double-double secret on generating 5, 10, 30, or even...
Wow, wow, wow. Okay. What are your thoughts? We're past 10, but anybody got anything to say why I thought this was so important to see, Maureen?
I do. And I just had a visit from a friend who hails from Africa, and she said to my son, who was also visiting, something I thought was hugely important, that there was a young person who became president in Senegal just by saying that they disagreed with everything that was in place. Not that they had an idea of where to go, but they needed complete restructure. And I thought this was so fresh and that people could actually follow it. And that my son took it in and then said, oh no, well, you have to go within whatever system. Don't you see what? I said, no, stop. You get to create a system. And I thought that was really good because we do consume a lot of information. And it does take a real moment to step back to filter it all out. And to be able to start fresh is a fantastic idea. And I think it takes people that are adept at being in it, like youth, to say, okay, I don't like the way it's running. Let's get a group and help us create a new thing instead of just complaining about the way we don't like it. So I thought that was really on point. A lot of the things she said were really startling, and that there's a book published about it. Thank you for playing that. I feel like you've completely pulled the shade up.
Yeah, and I will post it in WhatsApp so you can see it.
Or share it. Thank you.
I saw the majority of that. I didn't see it all the way to the end, but that was a lot of information, really, And they say if you want to hide something, just put it in the book because we don't like to read.
Right. Right. Anyone else? Well, like I said, I will put it, I love how she explains and, makes it visual as well as, and how much knowledge she has to be able to not just sit there and read it and say it, but very, very creative. So there it is, 2025. Any events besides Sunday over on Iron Street from 2 to 6? I will be sending out, I'll be posting and sending out invites. Yeah, we'll have a good time. A good time. I'll be calling you, Lolly. I do have I've got a, I'll be talking. We got, anyway, we'll talk. Anything else going on this weekend?
I don't have anything this weekend, but I just want to start putting it in your minds. Well, it would have been this weekend and then it got postponed. I am in a play. I'll be honest and say this might be one of my last Christian-based plays, not because it's anything against it. It's just it's not quite aligned fully with with me, but I appreciate uplifting the culture and anything good. So, I am in a play on the 17th. Of course, they get loud as soon as I start talking, but on the 17th, which I believe is a Saturday. It's called Last Night Out. And I have free tickets, which are $20. And it'll be at Durfee Innovation Center. I'll remind y'all later, but just sharing that with y'all.
Okay, awesome. All right, give yourselves a big hug. And give the world a big hug, because they so need it. We all need it. And sprinkle blessings and sparkle all over everyone. Bless you. And I hope I see you Sunday. Peace out.
Thank you.